Welcome, food travelers, to another episode here in Texas. In this episode, we're headed to Fort Worth, Texas, to Panther City. Panther City BBQ is ranked number 10 on the Texas Monthly, and I'm really excited to try this one. How about you, Simon?
Yeah, Micah, I was really excited for this one. There's a little bit of a variance in this barbecue spot itself. There's a little bit of that Tex Mex, and so it's not quite your traditional barbecue like the ones that we've been to before, but has that similarities with the little differences. So it was exciting to come try this one.
Yeah, when I was reading about this one, I thought it was pretty interesting how they started their whole barbecue restaurant. How they started as like a food truck and kind of like in their backyard, and now in this whole new setting, they have a permanent location. I think it's pretty similar to that type of vibe too, where you have this outdoor seating spot and they have an indoor spot too. But when we were there, we sat on the outside. I personally like the outdoor seating for eating barbecue. It has a nice feeling to it.
Yeah, the setup is pretty interesting. It's a nice, pretty large spot, especially with all the grounds and everything, and how they kind of set up that outside, like you mentioned. The interesting thing was that it's kind of a newer spot. I wouldn't say like new, but it's one of their newer spots that they did open in the old building that they used to use. Was across the street, and you can actually still see it, and there's a sign that's actually still up there that says Panther City BBQ. But this new setup definitely is really nice, and it has a lot of unique aspects to it.
Yeah, it sure does. As you're entering the restaurant, you will see like a bar in one corner. You will see like the menu. You will see like all these like neon glowing lights with all different type of like, I guess, meme like quotes and stuff. And I think those are always fun to see inside a restaurant. So starting off here, some of the items that we got this thing called the kowtow platter, and I thought when we were coming in, we weren't exactly sure which specific item to order. But I think that platter was actually a really good platter because it had a little bit of everything that you would want.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just a little bit of everything. So if you are unsure, it does help. Of course, it's a platter for 2 people or more. So definitely, if you're by yourself, that just prepared to take a lot of it home if you do order that platter. But yeah, for 2 people, definitely it's plenty, and it does give you a little sample of a bit of everything, including all their popular items. One of the things that I kind of wish we did try some other things, Micah, was the tacos. That was something that I know later on, after we found out, it would have been nice to actually have tried those, but we weren't able to get them at the time.
Yeah, Simon. So some of the items I did want to mention with part of that kowtow platter is that half-pound brisket. It's a prime brisket, and then a half-pound pulled pork, half-pound of sausages, and then it comes with 2 medium sides. So some of the medium sides that we got was, I think it was a spicy vinegar slaw, and then we got like a spicy smoked mac and cheese. I really enjoyed that mac and cheese. I thought it was really good flavor. There's plenty of little chunks of cheeses inside. It was just mixed in really, really well.
Yeah, and something I wanted to mention earlier, as earlier in the video we were going through the line. One of the things I did notice as different is you kind of a lot of the barbecue places that we have been to, they kind of, as you go through the line, as you snake through it, you can get to the part where you're to the meats and everything, and you can see everybody kind of cutting everything and preparing all the plates for you. And this place is a little bit different in the sense that when you go through the order, and then it goes to the back kitchen, and then they cut everything, and you can actually go sit at your seat wherever you are, and they'll actually come back out and they'll bring it to you.
Yeah, that's definitely different. And when we were first sitting down, we didn't really know the process because it's our first time there, and I didn't know if they would actually come find us outside. I went back in and asked about it. I think that's really good service to come out and find you and call your name. Sometimes you're sitting down and you're waiting for your food forever, and you don't know what's going on, and yeah, they'll come find you.
Yeah, but as we Micah, as we said, we went to the outside and we sat there and we were kind of waiting, and I was looking around, and you can see in the video, we were actually here talking with Eric, and he invited us back into the pits, and that was really cool. He asked us to come back in, and we actually spoke with him for quite a while, and it was pretty interesting to kind of hear the story, the backstory between him and his family, essentially, because it's their family business, and kind of all the things that they've kind of gone through and they've experienced with everything that's happened. And one of the things that I really do remember was actually when he was talking about how when the Texas Monthly, they were kind of featured in the Texas Monthly, and how everything just kind of blew up in terms of the business, where just a ton of people started coming over and they were getting super busy. So that was interesting. But besides that point, also, it was just him talking about how they do their briskets and everything, and all their smoked meats, and just kind of the whole operations, and with how they do barbecue and his family's take on barbecue as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think having that conversation with him was really, really fun. It was definitely a plus to the barbecue experience. So if you do visit Panther City, yeah, go back there and ask them questions, talk to them. Don't just stand outside and watch them like a zoo animal, because like that's one thing Eric did mention. If you're just watching from the outside, just watching him, he feels like you're like a trapped animal, like in a zoo, and just like there's no conversation or interaction. So that interaction part is definitely a whole different experience. Because when you're in the pit, it's really, really hot back there. I mean, I'm pretty sure we mentioned this in other videos too, and triple-digit weathers plus that pit weather, or temperature inside the pit area, that's hot. I remember there was fans blowing and stuff, but we were like just dripping sweat. So it's hard work.
Yeah, they definitely is working hard going through, and there's definitely tons of meats that they were going through. But it was definitely interesting to see kind of the preparations, where you see the similarities between what they do with their like briskets, for example, and the kind of differences they do. And in his case, there's the different sauces that they do to kind of build that crust. But for me, I actually really did enjoy their brisket very, very much. It has a different kind of flavor, and it really has a nice kind of bold flavor to it that actually, for me, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely. The brisket flavor is really different. It's not like the traditional briskets you get with just salt and pepper or really minimal spices there. With their brisket, there's a lot more flavoring to it, and it is different, like Simon said. That's something that is always unique to have in a restaurant, where you can make your food, which essentially is the same as everybody else, stand out. And I think that's the important part, and why they're doing such a great job here.
Yeah, and then kind of going back to atmospheric wise between the building and everything else, it is really nice. Sitting on the inside, definitely it's a bit louder, because you got a lot of people who are, one, of course, with the air conditioning because it's so hot. At least at the time we were there, because it is summer and the temperatures are soaring in that triple digits. But being outside, even though we were outside, it wasn't so bad, because they had the nice setup where there were trees and everything back there, so there was just some shading. So that I actually really enjoyed. And of course, if it was, I guess, comfortable weather, something in the 70s or so, even 80s, of course, always nicer. But it wasn't actually that bad where it's an open spot and the sun is just hitting you and you're extremely uncomfortable eating because it's so hot. It was actually, for being triple digits and sitting outside, wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, I think another aspect to that, Simon, is probably because we were there earlier in the day. I guess right when they're opening, around 11, which is still, I think, is earlier, where the weather is not as the high of the day yet. So I think having those shade and everything, a little bit of breeze, is still pretty comfortable. But I think if you're there in the middle of the day, it will be a lot worse. Personally, that's how I feel. So some of the other items here for the desserts that we got is, I believe this is the Nutter Butter Cheesecake Pudding, and we also got the Smoked Pecan Bread Pudding. Both of them pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the desserts. Those were pretty good. And overall, everything was pretty nice. I enjoyed all the meats. Everything was cooked well. Great texture for everything. And like I mentioned before, brisket, from what we ordered, was definitely one of my favorites. And like I said earlier, I just kind of wish we were able to kind of try a little bit more of their menu than what we did have.
But overall, I really did enjoy this one and would recommend it.
And to wrap up the episode are our notables. First notable is the beef brisket. Soft, tender, and juicy, the brisket is enhanced with a wonderful bark loaded with tremendous Tex Mex flavors that remind me of why Texas barbecue is so great.
And for this notable, it goes to the mac and cheese. It was really good. It was really smoky and had a really nice creamy texture to it. Overall, a great one to grab if you're looking for a side.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.